So what I was just showing is how I got my coconut water, my coconut milk, and my coconut pulp for this particular soap. This took 6 whole coconuts to make enough milk for 20 pounds of soap. I drained out the water of them. I broke them open, took out the coconut, ground it up with distilled water in my Vitamix, which took a while, and then let it sit in the refrigerator for 72 hours. I then separated the milk from the pulp. I then reground the pulp and mixed it back into the milk to serve as a mild exfoliant in the soap, per a request of someone. So unlike the other coconut soaps that I've made, like the coconut pure or coconut cream, those were made with canned coconut milk. And what I don't like about canned coconut milk is that it oftentimes has tapioca extract in it, or it has maltodextrin, or it has guar gum, and sometimes corn syrup, all sorts of bizarre things, depending on the coconut milk. If you've looked at it, you already know this if you check the ingredients. It's very difficult to find, if not impossible, to find canned coconut milk that is 100% coconut, right? Because, well, first of all, there is not enough water in coconut, so in order to make it quote-unquote milk, you have to add water to the pulp. And that's how you get the coconut milk. But all of that aside, probably the most important thing for this particular soap was that it be something that I would want to use. So I took a lot of care with the product. Like I said, took 6 coconuts, took a while, and I don't mind that for a good product. And this kind of goes back to what I was discussing in a previous video about how we smaller independent soapers oftentimes put much more into our recipes. Now, I'm happy to share this recipe with you because there is no recipe. It's really very simple. I made the milk in the amount that I would need for the oils that I was using. In this case, I was making 20 pounds of soap. So you would, of course, adjust it to whatever you're doing. And just replace, if your recipe calls for water, I replaced it with the coconut milk. And you'll want to take into account the pulp if you add it in, of course, because that's going to add weight. And since we're measuring our liquids by weight, well, you get the picture. So always take caution with that. And I'm scenting this just with Lavender Essential Oil. That seems to be the most popular with this soap because I don't use artificial coconut fragrance. And quite frankly, I've smelled a few of them. I don't think they smell very good. They sure don't smell like coconut. Even if they smelled like a coconut candy bar or something like Almond Joy, those kind of things, maybe it would be acceptable, but I find most of them just don't smell quite right. I have smelled a few coconut scented soaps and it's just not for me. But lavender seems to be a fragrance that most people either like or can tolerate, and especially because it is a light lavender percentage in it. You get the lavender, but it's not an overwhelming fragrance. I really think it's just right. I try to balance that out anytime I make a soap. So unless someone says I want it to be lavender forward, sure, I'll push it to the limits of what's safe in a soap. But when I'm making soap, and this is a custom request in as much as they wanted me to use the pulp in the soap. But I knew that I would be making enough to sell in my store, so I know that most people don't like an overwhelming scent. All right, so that being said, this kind of soap sets up very quickly. It becomes ready in just a few hours to cut. And I had to leave this one a little longer because, well, I was busy with work and some other things. But again, you're not going to find larger soap companies that can do what we smaller soapers can do. Like this, like doing something custom or adding fresh ingredients where you actually get to see it being made. So enough blowing the horns of soapers. I know I've done that quite a bit in the previous video, so I won't spend any more time on that, but I did want to touch on it. Now I want to touch on why you saw a commercial at the beginning of this video. An ad after my last video. I had an overwhelming amount of people suggest that I keep at least the ad at the beginning of the video, because YouTube, if you don't allow ads, may actually drop you in search results or reduce certainly people's ability to find you, both on Google and in YouTube, because it's the same company, right? But they suggested that as long as you have a single ad at the beginning of your video, that it's not a problem as a rule, that they don't remove you from their searches. So I'm going to take that bit of advice, but no longer will there be any ads within the video. That is the one point, now that I know how to uncheck that auto. That was my big complaint, is that they started automatically adding the commercials within the video without my knowledge or permission. Apparently they sent an email on this, and I should have read the emails that they were going to do this, and I did not. So I suppose the onus is on me, but I would have preferred a bit more information, and I still am not happy that they make it a default that I have to go in and actually manually uncheck it on every video that I upload. If you don't uncheck it, if you choose to monetize your videos, meaning allow a commercial at the beginning, you also have to uncheck the box where it inserts videos into your video, and I was not aware of that. I just wasn't cognizant that I had to make that option. I know it now, and so going forward, you may still have a 15-second video at the beginning, or ad at the beginning of the video, but you won't see any more within the video. That is a promise from me to you. So I hope that that helps clarify that particular issue. But I did have a lot of enjoyment making this soap because it is so simple. There's just not much to it. You know, you only have a few ingredients. And the key ingredient, of course, is the coconut. And it came out just lovely. It cut very nice. I just love the color that coconut, when you're using pure coconut, you get the most beautiful white. And one issue with that is make sure your wire on your cutter is clean, because any little bit of soap, like green soap or a red soap that you may have cut previously, if that wire is not clean, it's going to mark up your nice white soap. And so just something to watch for. But I want to thank you all. Your comments on the last video meant the world to me, because I don't know, it's just so sweet and just so generous of you all to speak to me the way that you do, and I sincerely appreciate you very, very much. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. I've got a fun Halloween video coming. I just have to get it edited. So visit back soon. Make sure you subscribe so that you catch that next video. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.